Good morning. Welcome back to Wake Up with Carlyn. Yesterday, I was noticing these two photos that I have on my wall of my grandmothers. You know, the gorgeous black and white, the lighting is perfect. They just look absolutely stunning. The ones that kind of fade out at the bottom of their shoulders into the rest of the background. And it makes me think about the photos that we take today and this balance between technology and convenience and presence. I mean, it's a gift that we have. Everyone has a phone pretty much these days. You can go and you can take a photo of anything. You can take a photo of your dog just lying there. We can go to events and record videos of that band playing our favorite song. And we snap a million photos of just one moment. We pose with our friends and it's just hoping that we capture one that we like. And then we go back through them. And of course, we don't like any of them, right? And yet those old photos, there's fewer in number. But somehow it feels like they say more. They feel almost sacred. They feel special. Even you can look at a man pulling a cart and it just feels like art. It feels like you can feel the photo. So what is it that's different? It's not that the world is any less beautiful. I think what we're missing is presence. Because when we go to that concert and we record that band playing our favorite song, the sound comes back absolutely terribly. How many times are you going to go back and listen to that? And in taking that moment away of holding your phone up and watching it through the screen of your phone, you're not fully sinking into that moment. You're not fully there. And what a shame that is. That ticket that you bought that's probably way overpriced, and you're not actually having the full experience. You're too busy capturing it to share it with the rest of the world rather than fully sinking into the moment and savoring it for what it is. So today I'm thinking mostly about presence, about how we seem to be rushing through life. Like we have this need to always be on to the next thing rather than sinking into every moment that we live. And this world has an obsession with more, doing more, achieving more, having more. So we have things like Amazon that can get us our order later that day, even same day if you're close to an Amazon location. And we have this almost annoyance if we can't get it the same day delivered to our door. Oh, we get frustrated. But what about just going to a store? What about picking it up ourselves? What about just treasuring the moment? And I think about the architecture that we have these days. Buildings used to be so beautiful. They had character. They had beauty etched into their sides. And now we just have a bunch of square boxes that are going to be gone in no time. They can easily be taken down and thrown back up. We live a life of impermanence, of things that don't last. And I think about how much more creative we feel when we're in beautiful places, when we have clothes that we love, that we feel special in. And are we actually present in our life? Are we actually savoring the moment? My grandmother was an airline stewardess, and she, that was a special job back then. You had to fit a certain look, behave a certain way, hold yourself with class. Airline travel was a very special thing. People got dressed up to the nines just to go on an airplane ride. All the food was served on glass plates and in glass cups. It was a treat. It was something to be celebrated, to savor, to get ready for, to look forward to. And now when we travel, we wear our most comfortable, grungy clothes. We have eye masks and earphones on, and we're like, don't talk to us. We put a face mask on in the plane. And I'm not saying that thing is bad, but air flight is a marvel, the fact that we can do it. And I think that sometimes we, in the convenience, in the normalcy of things, we forget how incredible so much of it is. We forget how incredible having a phone is, how it works. Being able to even pick up a phone and hear someone across the world and the sound comes through immediately, like how does that work? We become so used to technology that it just becomes normal and mundane. But things are magical all around us. What if we could treat life with more presence, more attention to the wonder, to the magnificence that it is? In our obsession with always having more things now, it leads to lower quality, more waste, and less meaning. You think about appliances that were built back in the day, and a fridge would last years, and some of them still even run today. And now the appliances that we have are dead in 5 years. You're always having to replace it. We've lost this quality because we want to pay less now. But in paying less now, we just end up paying more in the long run. And we feed this consumer culture. And again, I'm not trying to bag on it and say that it's a bad thing, because it's a beautiful thing that we can get things fast and quickly, and it's amazing. And yet I feel like there's less presence in this world. And I think that's what I'm trying to get back to bring more of in my life. Why are we rushing through a life that we want to love? Why do we go to concerts and not be fully present? Why is it that we want to take a photo of every little thing that happens? Can we just be with it? Maybe take your phone out and just take one photo. But don't be so concerned with how you look in it. Just know that you're capturing that moment so you can look back at it and remember the memories of that event or that dinner that you had with those people or that moment with your child. But actually, after you snap that one, then just be in that moment, be with it, so that you have actual memories to go along with that photo. We used to take time to do things intentionally and beautifully. Architecture was built out of stone. It was built to last, rather than things that could be put up just as easily as they could be taken down. Clothing was expressive. There were so many more colors, and it fit a woman's body so differently. It was classy. Airline travel was made for people who dressed up. It was special. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if when we went out to dinner, we didn't wear sweatpants? If we went to the grocery store, we got a little bit dressed up. Every time we took a flight, we were dressed nicely. I mean, anything can happen at the airport. You can meet anyone at the airport. Dress nicely. Show up. Be open with your presence, because magic happens at airports. You never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to be sitting next to. Can you imagine if we actually moved through life like that, rather than shutting everything out and being so concerned with what comes next and rushing from point A to point B? And yet the quality that we miss, the way that we shove so many things in our closets and we're constantly buying. And in doing that, we've forgotten how to savor. We feel like we need more of everything, more photos, more clothes, more things, just to fill this space, maybe this sense of emptiness in our life, or this wanting to belong. And so we buy clothes that everyone else buys because we want to fit in. And not everyone can afford to buy the more expensive clothing. And that's okay. But what if, instead of always feeling like we needed more or to follow the trends, what if we took the time to actually figure out what we ourselves actually like? What if every item in our home was curated? What if we didn't just go to Target and buy the big box art that everyone else has or that's super cheap? What if we took the time to find a local artist or an artist online that we really loved, and instead of having 15 photographs or paintings all over our home, what if we just had a couple special ones? What if we took the time to actually curate our wardrobe and our items in our home so that everything had meaning to us? Not just to fill a space, not just to get the design done or to fill our closet. What if we actually savored every item that we own? What if we treasured everything? What if the things that we owned actually held a story or were a way to express ourselves? And what if we weren't concerned about wearing the same item of clothing all the time? What if we had the items that we loved and we wore them a lot because we love them, because they're comfortable, because they make us feel good, because they feel like us? And not worrying about what anyone thinks, that, oh, I wore this yesterday, everyone's going to remember. I wore this last week, everyone's going to remember. I mean, on the show, I think about, well, I wore that sweater, I can't wear that sweater, but I have my favorite sweaters. I'm probably going to wear them again. Maybe I should just start doing that, wearing the same sweater, so I can live what I'm preaching right now. Looking back at these old photographs and hearing the stories from my grandparents of what life was like back then, how everyone got dressed up, it seemed like we used to honor the moments. And now we just try to get through it. And what a shame that is. It's like we're searching for something, like we're trying to fill some hole in our life, which maybe it's presence. Maybe actually being present in each moment would fill that hole that we're trying to fill with all of these things, or with social media. And sometimes I think that maybe this is why we're drawn to things like synchronicities. Those little magical moments that feel like connections to something or to someone. Like when you're thinking of a person and they text. Or you're thinking about, I really want to go on a trip. And then you start to see the name of a location in every magazine cover or every book that you read, on the shows. Maybe it's mentioned on a podcast or a YouTube video that you're watching. You just start to see sprinkles of it. It starts to feel like, ooh, I'm being guided to this direction. And what is that? Is it just because we're focusing on that thing and so we start to see more of it in the world around us? Certainly that is a part of it, without a doubt. What we focus on, we see more of. And maybe these are little hints of magic and guidance from our soul or from God or from something else. And you think about when someone passes away and you have this encounter with a hummingbird or with a cardinal, or you start to see little things like, oh, that feels like a message from them. Sure, you could be making up that thing is linked to that person, and there's this part of you that wants to feel that connection to that person that's passed or this one other thing. And so you create that meaning in that thing. Maybe, but also, is that wrong? Because it could be a message from the person from the other side. And there are those ones that it just feels undeniable, like it's a message, like it's something, it's a presence of that person coming through in this message in some way. And we can explain these little moments of synchronicities and magical moments away with logic and say that we're just making meaning where there perhaps is none. Have you heard of Occam's razor theory? It basically says that the most simple explanation is the most likely explanation. And I hear that. I acknowledge it, and I know that that is most likely the truth in most situations. And there's something to magical thinking. There's something to these thought experiments that Einstein did. If we don't make space for wonder and for play and to think about things in a different way, then we lose inventions. We lose new theories on reality. And every theory of reality is just that. It's just a theory. And we lose little moments of magic. Because for me, that's what helps me correct to creativity. That's what makes this life worth living, honestly. If I was always being logical, if I was stuck in just the mundane of life, I would be bored. I don't think I'd really want to be here. It's being able to connect with playful thinking, with being able to watch fantasy movies or read fantasy books like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, or even little kids' movies, animated movies. That makes me feel a sense of wonder. Being able to go on a walk and notice the beauty of the plants or the little snails or the little creatures. Being able to go on a trip, flying on an airplane and feeling, oh my gosh, this is so fancy. Like I feel so good. I feel so special that I'm in a plane, that I'm going to this destination. It's meaning making that makes life worth living for me. And maybe it is true that all of this means nothing, that all of it is pointless. Maybe it is true that we just simply disappear after we die and we cease to exist, which I don't think at all is the reality. I really don't. But even if that was the case, then who cares if I'm thinking magically? If it helps me to get through life more easily, more joyfully, more playfully, and I love the life that I'm living, then who cares? And I'll make sure that I still am grounded in the present moment and what is actually real, what can be proven to be real. Where logic ends, wonder begins. It's all about balance. Keeping in mind that Occam's razor could be true. The most simplest explanation is the most likely explanation. And also leaving room for magic and sparkles of wonder, because it just makes life more fun. And maybe right now you're in a season where it's hard to see the magic, where even the synchronicities seem to have shut off and disappeared. Maybe you're in the moment of a breakup or a transition or a heavy loss that you've just experienced. And it feels like savoring the beauty of every moment or the quality of things, you just can't connect with it right now. And that's okay. I've been there. There will come a time where the light starts to turn back on and you'll be able to reconnect with the magic. You'll be able to notice the synchronicities again, because they're going to happen all around you. Joy wanted to join us for the closing. So today I want to invite us just to slow down a little bit, to be a little bit more present, to savor the moments. And maybe we make things feel a little bit more special. Maybe we don't rush as much. Maybe we get dressed a little more. We put on that shirt that we've been saving for a special occasion, because today's a special occasion. Why not? Maybe the next time we go to an event, we pull out our phone and just take one photo. That's it. And then we actually sink into the moment. Maybe today and this week, we notice the beauty that's all around us. We savor the things that we have. We walk around our house and notice the items that have been curated or the memories that are on the wall. Maybe we just move with a little bit more presence and intentionality. And maybe we acknowledge that something might be a magical sign. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but we choose to believe in the magic that might be, just because it makes it more fun. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time.